love sports, enjoy sports. I was having an issue on the last little stream, so I just made up a new link. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and y'all hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure that you check out any other future Houston, Texas content. Today we're gonna end up talking about the joint practices between the LA Rams and the Houston Texans. But before we get into that, make sure that y'all go ahead and y'all fall inside of the chat so I can give everybody their shout outs. Let's see what we got here. Let's see nothing yet. Let's see what we got here. There we go. I've been hearing a whole lot of stuff about the Camden today. Also, before we get into anything, shout out to Cody Stutes. He just went live. Shout out to Houston Stressings and everybody who was just in the last stream. It was a very good stream. Appreciate you for having me on. Definitely make sure that y'all go check out any Cody Stutes content along with Houston Stressings and everybody else who's involved at mini camps who provide us any information so that we can be able to enjoy the team. Leonard Avery, what's good, big dog? Y'all let me know how to, I think I ended up having the damn video playing in the background on my phone, but I don't know why I was playing at the same time that I was going live. So y'all make sure y'all let me know how the audio is sounding. Pay Q, what's good? JPEG, what's good? Let me give it about another minute or so, and then we're going to get into the content. D-Love, what up? Man, everything going good, man. Everything good, man. Everything about to be way better when we win this damn Super Bowl. Yes, I said Super Bowl. We're going to get into it. You know what I'm saying? Some people going to be like, pipe down. Ain't got no reason to pop down because we got 7. I already know who it is. I already knew, bro. When I seen the name, I already knew who it was, bro. I already knew it was you. Shout out my boy, E-Man Emmett. Why you recommend the Golden Grams? Nigga, because they the best cereal nigga on the planet. That's exactly what it is. Who that? Man, come on, bro. Man, cut that out, bro. You know damn well you ain't no Saints fan. You know you ripping the Falcons. I don't even know why you playing. Yeah. It's going to be a Lions and Texans Super Bowl. Spits tend to think that we're going to be playing the Packers in the Super Bowl. I don't see it. I don't think the Packers going that far. If any Packers fans want to get on up in here, we invite everybody in here. If y'all want to have a conversation about it, we could talk about it. But until then, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button because we got a whole lot to talk about when it comes to this topic. First and foremost, man, shout out to all of the Texans media outlets, DJ Ben, Big Sarge, everybody who was at the training camp. And shout out to DYL for being, having boots on the ground. We went in Discord and we seen a lot of different video of, the way that the offensive side of the ball was looking today. We got word on how the defense was playing as well as how some of the culture changes and how Sean McVay took the practice that he had against the Houston Texans today. A lot of work was good. A lot of work was getting put in. But the main work was coming from this young man that we got called Kamari Lassiter. Ever since we got this man, he has been the mold of what D'Amico Ryans embodies and what we have to constantly have on this football team. Candy Girl, what's good? Julius, what's good, big dog? Yeah, come on, man. You already see what it is. Yeah, but Kamari Lassiter, man, that man embodies every single thing that the Houston Texans have been needing at the cornerback position. You pair him up with Derek Stingley, you see exactly what's going on. Stingley locking up one side, this boy's locking up the other side. You got to change channel. Man, it's all good. It don't matter which channel you on, bro. Just make sure you double tap and you hit the like button twice. That's all I care about. Go ahead and support your boy. You already know what's up. Oh, and y'all be on the lookout for Soft Sports. We're going to have that up and running. Reached out to the big dog today. He going to give me some info. He was supposed to call me earlier, you know what I'm saying? You know, but he be on that whole shit sometime. He be for real forgetful. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna hit me up and let me know exactly what is going on, and we're gonna be able to formulate and get our time back on so we can be able to pump out all this H-Town content. You know, Candy Girl, I already know why you here. You here to support the Platinum Arm Guard, CJ Stroud. You already know what it is. Tell Unc, y'all, I ain't getting my head knocked off today, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how he do. But, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the Panthers, though. You know I fuck with y'all. There we go. There you go. Yeah, I see you, big dog. You already know how I do. Shout out to everybody over there in Panthers Nation, Big Cat, Leo, Elaine, all them boys. But back to Kamari Lassiter. This young man's skill set has been so elite during camp. I have him as the best corner from what I've seen early on, from whether it was OTAs, mandatory minicamp, we're in training camp right now, even during the preseason games, and it's plain to see. Now, while I'm saying this on the Discord, and I did not say this, live, on my platform, but I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, and I'm pretty sure a few of y'all agree with me. Hands down, I believe Kamari Lassiter will be the best rookie corner in this class. I think with the situation that he's involved in, being next to Derek Stingley, going against Stephon Diggs, going against Tank, going against CJ, and going against Nico, is boding well. You can see the monikers that we have going on right now. You're seeing the iron sharpening iron shirts. We're seeing exactly what's going on in camp. Man is getting it done. He's getting it done at a high level. They had a lot of reps against the Rams today, especially against Cooper Kupp, who's a former Offensive Player of the Year just a couple years ago. 2 years removed from a Super Bowl championship. Well, I say 3 now. But it was a lot of good work. I can tell it was a lot of things that we were going to have, schematically and how they match up. From my understanding, Puka didn't get a lot of reps in today, but as it stands, nobody was getting past Derek Stingley. And, a couple of plays was made on Lassiter today. I heard he got took for a back shoulder fade, which those are hard to guard in the NFL. And if you have the timing right and knowing the way that Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, they end up playing, you can see how that can end up being a problem for anybody. And I definitely thought he was better than Kool-Aid. Like, all these people was like, oh, we need to take Kool-Aid. Take him for what? Take him for what? Cooper DeJean, yeah, he's cool. You know what I'm saying? He's all right. He's straight. But when it comes to mindset, when it comes to everybody wanted to down this man strictly off of his 40 time. I don't know where people were getting they act like he was getting burnt in college. When you see him against Xavier Legette, when you see him against Ibuka, when you see him against Marvin Harrison, when you see him against Brian Thomas Jr., when you see him against Neighbors, does that man look like he lost? Absolutely not. That's what you need. You need somebody who is able to stick to your back hip. And much to do about nothing when it comes to talking about his 40 time, because Daniel Jeremiah is already on record saying that 40 time, a lot of people had that 40 time wrong, and he reran it. They clocked him in, I want to say on his pro day or another situation where they wanted to run him again, and he came in closer to 4.51. So which is a very good time. And a lot of the elite corners are running in between 4.3 to a top 4.5. You had guys who was running 4.6, like Josh Norman from the Panthers of all places, and he was an all-pro corner in 2015, and he went on to play in Washington for a few years and was a very good corner for years to come. So, I can't really be worried about a lot of things that people say in the combine, because everybody wants to go by the measurables, but nobody wants to go by the tape. And what I'm seeing on tape, and when I'm looking at what this man is doing in the preseason, and when you see the videos that get put out by the Houston Texans on a week in, week out basis, Kamari Lassiter, when he's on the field, when he's not rehabbing, the small little hamstring that he had over the week, he is not a problem to get the job done on the outside. The job was sewn up, every bit of 2 months ago. And I'm seeing a lot of people doing content on the Houston Texans. And a lot of people, are riding with us. And you got a large group of people who are looking for our demise. Well, guess what? The boy's showing up. We got number 7 right. And he's going to be here for a long time. Maybe just might be here as long as Peyton Manning and all them other guys was who terrorized the Houston Texans early on when we first got it kicked off. But before I get into that, let me get to a few more of y'all shout outs. And if y'all have any questions or if y'all want to know any of my feelings when it comes to anything, make sure that y'all go ahead and put them in the chat. I want to be able to interact. I want to probably give y'all a good hour, maybe an hour and a half stream today, because I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? The team got me feeling even better. A lot of things are going on right now in life that I'm definitely loving. So, and I love y'all, and I definitely love to receive, to receive the love back from y'all, and I'm glad that I can be able to brighten y'all day, by being able to get y'all some content. Duke say, I told y'all Sting and Kamari, the second coming of Revis and Cromartie. Hey, might be better because I believe Revis don't have nowhere near the amount of ball skills now while that Stingley has. When I look at Kamari Lassiter, now why is it saying this is from his standpoint? He thinks he looks a lot more like Sauce Gardner right now, but with less penalties. Very sticky, uses his length right, never really gets burned, but it's very physical. We need that. He better than Kool-Aid? Absolutely. It's not even close. He was locking them boys up. You damn right he was. Rue, what's good, big dog? Yeah, it's named the locksmith for a reason, bro. You got the lock and the key, you know what I'm saying? If Stingley didn't have, number 24 on his back, then I would be saying, hey, it's a closed casket. Leo, what's good, big dog? Appreciate you boys coming to the stream, man. I appreciate everybody showing up. I know it's going to end up being some more people. You know how YouTube be doing. They don't be wanting to send out damn notifications. You go live, you don't go live after a while. They don't be wanting to send them out. But shout out to everybody who's in here thus far, though. Big B, what's good, big dog? I think I just seen you send a link inside the chat. If you just shot that back up in there, bro, I appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all stomp on that like button, though. Lassiter's that guy. I think he's just the epitome of player that D'Amico wants. Just mind frame, very technically sound. If you notice across the board, most of the positions that we have, to play with D'Amico, you have to be technically sound. You have to be able to play fast, know your assignment, understand the playbook, and get it done. And across the board, that's really all we seeing. That's all we seeing. The secondary is looking nice. I love Petrie. We're going to go ahead and get to him right now. McVay ended up having an interview today. And one of the questions that was posed to him was like, he liked to work at his, he commended D'Amico on being able to have the defense, to be able to afford his offense, a great opportunity because you can't get this kind of work in, towards the end of camps, especially with all the injuries and things like that typically go. If y'all remember last year, we canceled because we were supposed to have 2 joint practices and we ended up canceling the one or the last week of the, for the final preseason game. And he spoke very highly of Petrie and said Stingley was doing his thing. He was like, Lassiter was doing his thing, but Petrie was really doing his thing. And if you notice, and you seen the way that he was playing up on the line of scrimmage, and if you haven't seen it, it was a joy to watch. He looked very much like a prime, a bigger version of Honey Badger in that preseason game that we had against the Giants. If you saw Jalen Petrie in that game, he was always in the backfield. I want to say he got like 2 or 3 tackles for loss. He came up big in coverage. You know, he took Theo Johnson out of the game and baited. I mean, Daniel Jones just threw him the damn ball when he should have took the safety. You know what I'm saying? Or at least if he was going to throw the ball away, he could have threw it. You know, to the. It would have been a bad play regardless. It either would have been a sack, it would have been a fumble. Daniel Jones is just an idiotic football player, and it's a shame that the New York Giants didn't maximize on their talent and move up to be able to go get Jaden Daniels or Drake May in the draft. But it may not be all that bad. They built the team up enough. I think they got enough on defense. They got enough on offense. And next year, who knows what they're going to end up being in line for. And they may be able to get back to being the big blue that they used to be. But I digress. This ain't about them. This about us. Jalen Preachier's out here shining. I understand a lot of people, want to know what he's, is he our nickel? And I want to say Houston Stressens summarize this up perfectly in Cody Stutes' video if you guys haven't watched it. If you haven't watched it, when you get done with this, make sure you go check that out if you're looking for more Houston Texans content. But he classified it and said that he was putting him into a star role, meaning he's not more like of a safety corner like Minka Fitzpatrick, but more of a safety linebacker, which makes a whole lot of sense because you can see him being able to play up on the line and how quickly he's able to get past offensive linemen, blow up running backs and or tight ends, and to be able to make plays in the run game and be extremely effective underneath for the passing game. This is the way that Stingley should, I mean, not Stingley, but Petrie should have always been used, even in the Lovie Smith program. Now, I understand we played a lot of too high. We played a lot of Tampa coverage, so him being, the free safety in that scheme, it was a lot easier for him to be able, I think he had less responsibility in Lovie's scheme. I honestly believe that. I think D'Amico seen things in him that he felt that he wanted to exploit, but because of injuries, to his shoulder, as well as being able to pick up on certain things and not being at the right spot, that he lost some confidence over the season, and it just hindered him, throughout the entire season. This year, he looks completely different. He looks like he's in much better shape. We've seen some of the plays, and he doesn't look lost out there. Last year, it was too many times where he was either getting benched, he was looking lost, he could make plays, he was whiffing and missing on tackles. As of now, I don't really see that being an issue because I want to say D'Amico is a stickler at making sure that the main thing is the main thing. And as a safety, you have to take great angles if you're going to come up and run support, and you have to secure the tackle, whether that be in space or behind the line of scrimmage. Eastside Harold, what's good, big dog? He's definitely a problem, bro. They're going to be testing him. They can't throw this thing no more. I mean, this man probably has some of the most phenomenal ball skills that I've ever seen. Besides, people think nobody's really called me crazy for this, but I feel like if I make this comparison, and I make this comparison very early on, because I've never seen a player with this much closing speed. I've never seen a guy who can be able to turn his head, flip around, be able to make a lot of acrobatic plays like he did, besides primetime Deion Sanders. I haven't seen that kind of ball skill that, in this era of corners, there's nobody that I can compare Derek Stingley to other than that man. Closing in on the speed, he never really gets beat, and even if he does, he closes so fast on the ball, it's unreal. It is unreal. He uses his arm length extremely well. He's able to like how he mirrors a lot of the techniques that he sees from the wide receivers. And it's not that he can't be beat, because every corner can get beat. But a lot of times you don't really see him making a lot of same mistakes. And don't even get me started on what this man is doing in the run game. I'm seeing this man tackling Derrick Henry one-on-one with no problems. He's been a problem for how many years? But, guys like that is taking the challenge head on. And he's getting it done in run defense. He can play mid cover. He can play short. He can play deep. He's reading the double. He's reading the double moves. And I understand a lot of people are saying, but it's the ball skills that I'm talking about specifically. He has a certain term of athleticism. Even when you look at the way that he's built, he's not even built like most corners. He's built completely different. And it seems every year from his rookie year to now, he's always developed in such a way when you see him, you like, bro, he's just gonna get better and better and better. Very good hips, very good back pedal. Um, his closing speed, he uses his length. His, I don't think it's too many guys who's gonna be able to take the ball away like Derek Stingley's gonna be able to do over the next maybe 8 years or so. Corners tend to have a very short shelf life. So the prime corners are able to do their job at the highest level at least for a good 8 to 10 years before you start to really start to see a little slippage. I think if he takes care of his body and as long as he doesn't have any lower extremity injuries like, foot, he doesn't end up having like stress fractures or any knee injuries or things like that, I think he's going to be able to play in this league for a very long time. And just like Daniel Jones, people are going to try him and it's not going to go the way that they think that it's going to go. It's going to end up going for 6 or it's going to get with him running around in circles with the ball, smiling and celebrating with his teammates. Darren, what's good, big dog? Jersey looking extra crispy too. Bro, them jerseys, bro. Them blue jerseys, I don't know what was wrong with them boys in NRG when they put them blue jerseys on last week, bro. They was not playing. And one of the other things that we can see from what we can sum up from this year's preseason, we forced 8 turnovers already. And it probably would be 10 if we were able to recover those 2 fumbles that we had against Justin Fields on those couple of drives that he played. No, CJ Stroud hasn't been sacked. What I want to say, he got chased down, but he was able to get the ball away. But I don't think he's been sacked. I think the offensive line is doing a very good job. I like what they're doing with Blake Fisher. We're making the right reads. Bobby looked like he's opening a playbook to a certain level because it's clear to see what he's going to be able to do now that we have a certain kind of personnel. I'm going to get into the offense and I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I think that certain players are going to end up being used. But as far as this defense is concerned, once we get Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter on the game in week 1 against Indy, I just feel sorry for Anthony Richardson. I feel sorry that E.J. Speed and Zaire Franklin was running their goddamn mouth. I feel real bad for him because what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing out of Coach Camp, it ain't good. We already got our co-killer in Nico Collins. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop them. Their secondary sucks. They got a good offense. I will give them that. They do have Shane Steichen, who's able to coach. And they got some weapons in some areas of their defense, as far as the front 7 is concerned. But when it gets to the back end, I mean, Kenny Moore's cool, and Julian Blackman, or whatever his name is, the safety that they got, he's all right. I'm not the least bit concerned about the Indianapolis Colts this year. I honestly believe them getting rid of Gardner Minshew was one of the worst things that they could have done, and they will rue the day that they got rid of him and replaced him with Joe Flacco. He doesn't have the defense that he had last year. And while the Browns had a very good defense, I can say he has a little bit more receivers outside of Amari Cooper, but they did have David Njoku. They had, Jerome Ford on the ground. They're getting, Chubb back. But when it comes down to the division, which we will have some division talk about, but we definitely want to be able to give the star of the video, Kamari Lassiter, his flowers because that young man is playing extremely well. And I cannot wait until C.J. Henderson gets cut so he can get his number 21. It is no reason that Henderson should be wearing number 21 on anybody's team. He would tell you that he loves to bait. You damn right. Champ was a beast of baiting QBs. Then Yoink picked off closing speed. Yeah, it is. I've never seen it. And not in this generation. Not even when I look at I love Patrick Peterson. I love Champ Bailey. I love Revis, Richard Sherman, Antonio Cromartie. You know, I love Patrick Surtain. Like Surtain, I think it's a lot of guys. You know, Xavier Howard in his prime. You know, but it's a lot of guys out here that I don't think come close to what this man does. Yeah, he's Dookie Stains, bro. Complete doo-doo. I don't know how he got drafted so high. Dude is bro. He chimp fecal. K Stover blocking is becoming top tier. Absolutely. We were having a discussion about him earlier. And we could probably end up talking about him probably a little later on in the stream because I think a lot of rookies that we have, I think the top 4 rookies that we have are going to have so much impact on this team this year that it's going to be completely scary to a team that we already had that had a lot of great playmakers at their starting positions. Y'all give me just a moment. Yeah, Ford's gone. Ford's gone. Brian might be gone. Lonnie Johnson might be gone. And I know a few of these guys ended up making some plays last week, like Lonnie Johnson. You know, he ended up getting the pickup, with the fumble, when Thule, stripped the ball from him and he got it. But personally, I don't think Lonnie Johnson might make this team because you still have Eric Murray. You're going to have Petrie, um, who else? MJ Stewart, Bullock, and Ward. So yeah, Boyd is Chris Boyd definitely got to go, bro. That dude be getting cooked. You seen Ford versus Ferrari? You remember when Enzo Ferrari tipped his hat? That's what I'm ready to do. That's what I'm ready to do to fucking Chris Boyd. That guy sucks. He is a complete trash can. Like, I don't know how he made it into the league. I don't know how he's bounced from roster to roster the way that he has. But that dude, you can't trust no man named Chris that's spelled with a K. I'm sorry, you just can't do that. And he ain't it. He's not it, bro. He's not it at all. I don't think he can play football very well, and it's going to be a great day when he's no longer on this football team as a depth piece whatsoever. He can't even make it practice squad. Practice squad is going to be a hard thing when it comes to the D tackle position because I think Marcus Harris is a very good developmental player who we picked up in the 6th round. I think he's going to end up making that. Jawad Jordan more than likely is going to make it. J.J. Taylor is probably going to make it. But I think depending on the guys that they choose to keep, a lot of these guys are going to end up on somebody else's team. I got a good feeling that's just saying if Jawad Jordan or somebody like that makes it to the practice squad, somebody going to come scoop him. And you know what? Tavia Thomas had his times. Tavia did look good in times. But it was usually when the pass rush was playing lights out. And when the coverage was just so blanketed, so he had his times. It depends on who he was going against. But Tavia Thomas ain't it. I did like him early to start the season, and I definitely wanted to keep him, but, he's not really that good, bro. Chris Boyd gots to go. Miles Bryant gots to go. The experiment, it was cool while it lasted, but it is what it is. 34, yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying, Honcho. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I was like, hey, This kind of be the reason, you know what I'm saying, why people, you can stay away for so long, because it just be like, bro, motherfuckers want content until they get content, and then you can't even get no damn likes. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Uh, Backstreet Marine, big facts, bro. Boyd always chasing. Okay, yeah, I read that already. Antoine, what's good, bro? Yeah. I would have kept 34 here. Asked him sauce. Asked him what? I mean, Honcho already on it. He already know what's up. He on it. He already know what's up. What's your opinion of the O-line group and the running back group? Bro, I'm extremely impressed with the running back group. I'm extremely impressed with the pass protection of the passing unit, for the O-line group. I love what we're doing up front. I think we're going to throw the ball a whole lot. And I think that, because we haven't had Joe Mixon out there, I like the running game when Damian Pierce ain't running the ball. The running game has looked just fine. J.J. Taylor, did y'all not see him? Did y'all not see British Brooks? Bro. Hey, D'Amico and Nick got some hard choices to make when it comes to running back. I know Cam Akers better be the number 2 guy when camp is all said and done. I believe the roster should be a stand, and I don't mind if they want to hold 4 running backs. I've seen several notable franchises carry 4 running backs, no problem. The Ravens being one of them, the Saints in their heyday being one of them. Having a running back by committee and having a lot of change of pace backs, but guys who can 1 cut, 2 cut, make dudes miss. One of the things that is extremely irritating about watching Damian Pierce, while he may be having some good days in training camp when we don't have visual proof, because we're listening to so many guys, who are actually at the camps and are seeing certain holes, and things opening up for him. But personally, I just don't think he's a scheme fit. I don't know if they would trade him or they would let him go. Personally, he might end up still staying here and taking somebody's job unjustly. But I think if they were to keep him, it would be Bobby making the same mistake and not keeping the players that are suitable enough for the scheme. If Mixon is, for some reason, to be able to go down, I would have no issues if Cam Akers, British Brooks, or JJ or Jawar Jordan. I mean, we have so many guys in the running back room, and I wouldn't have thought that all of these guys, with the exception of Damian Pierce, got juice. When you look at Damian Pierce, he's stutter stepping at the line, and I understand he only had like 5 rushing attempts last week, but he was 1.3 yards per attempt. 5 yards on, bro. Just saying it out loud is irritating. Because we've seen what Damian Pierce looked like his rookie year, and maybe that was just the benefit of us having an extremely bad team, and the fact that you did have guys like Troy Hairston, and we were running, a lot of, I formation, strong, we were running a lot of sets that required a fullback. So maybe that's another thing that he may need at the NFL level. Some guys that, those true power backs, they generally do like a lead back in front of them. So if that's what he needs, I'm not against it. But if we're going to run him out of single back and we're going to be running him out of, 12 personnel, 11 personnel, and he's supposed to make it happen in the shotgun, I don't think that that's going to be the move in like inside, outside zone. I just don't see it. I really don't. 49 carries 4 backs too. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. A lot of those teams. Matter of fact, the Dolphins gonna be doing it. They're gonna have Raheem Mostert. They're gonna have A-Chain, Jalen Wright that they got from Tennessee, and I know they're gonna end up carrying one more of their guys. Because in a pinch, you can always use one of those guys to be able to motion from out of the backfield and be able to play inside of the slot. So if OBJ goes down, you can expect them to be able to do that, which is the main reason whoever their best receiving threat is, you can expect to see something like that quite often. And a lot of the teams who run the ball extremely well keep so many guys around for just that reason. I understand, Damian Pierce is in a situation where yes, he can return kicks and things of that nature, but honestly, I think he's not going to really be in that role this season. I understand the fact that he can do it, that he's done it well while he's been here, but that's not enough to be able to justify a roster spot for Damian Pierce because he can't do the main thing. He's not reading the blockers. He's not making the decisions. He's hesitating way too often, and he just doesn't have the burst. And he goes down at first contact way too often for me. It's like looking at Alfred Blue or looking at Lamar Miller when he was on his way out of the door. It's like the moment you touch him, he goes down. And there's no reason that a guy who runs as violently as Damian Pierce should ever be going down like that on first contact. David Johnson, big for nothing. Yes, Mechie's making the team. Last week, what he did, and I said this, and it's funny to say because we had these conversations in the Discord, and it was so funny, that we do all the slanders in the Discord. And sure enough, Ray shows up out of nowhere, and Mechie just balls the fuck out last week. It was a sight to see. It was fun to see this man, hit the crane, hit the little Nick Cannon dance, and bro, and get into the crane stance. Xavier Hutchinson has been playing extremely well, in every single one of these games. I think they have a clear vision of what they want to be able to do with him. And, not only does he give you a presence of a 6'3", 6'4" type of receiver, can run block well, but can come out of the backfield and get so many things done, whether it be jet sweeps, whether it be screens, catching post routes, catching down the middle. He's very good at run blocking. And I think keeping guys like that around, you just solidified the fact that we haven't seen Noah Brown in camp at all. I think he's gone. If you guys want to know my opinion as far as the guys who we're going to end up keeping, I think, the top three is already solidified. We don't even need to mention them. But as far as the guys, the potential three guys who I see who are going to end up making the squad, I think Robert Woods, only because he's been in camp throughout this whole time, but he's going to be pushed a little further back. I think the 4 end up being Mechie, the 5 is going to end up being Hutchinson. But I see a scenario where schematically they're going to end up using those guys, and we're going to end up rotating personnel quite often for certain money downs. So you can expect to see Xavier Hutchinson and maybe Nico in, on certain downs. You can see Tank with Mechie on third downs because with the ability to be able to beat man coverage so easily, which is where Mechie shines the most, is the fact that he gets open just about on every single route. Him running routes has not been a problem whatsoever since he's been practicing or in the games. When you look at a lot of the games and when you look at a lot of formations, especially if you happen to see any view of the All-22 film, Mechie is screaming wide open. Problem that he's been having is either last year was either not being targeted or not making the play when they came his way. Xavier Hutchinson, on the other hand, was put in situations where he came out with some favorable outcomes. So those are the guys that I don't think Skoranek has really done enough, and I don't know exactly how they want to use him. A couple of weeks ago, I say he definitely makes the roster, but that's basically off a namesake and the fact that he understands the scheme. But as far as the games are concerned, we haven't really seen him do a lot in these preseason games. So I don't know. He's kind of a wild card. Maybe he might end up going to a practice squad. I think they keep him around and they keep him close in a pinch if somebody goes down or a couple of guys go down, that he's definitely a guy that they can call up, that they can trust. Like I said, you're going to end up having a lot of decisions. And if Woods gets cut, I'm not going to trip. If you want to keep Skoranek, Mechie, and Xavier Hutchinson, then so be it. I mean, no matter how you want to shape it up, I think it's going to end up working out for the better because all of these guys are going to be able to do specific things tailored to what Bobby wants to get done in the game plan. You think if he would get back to his rookie weight, he would be better for the scheme? It's not about weight. It's about him being able to read the blocks, him having patience, and in his own scheme, you have to have an absurd amount of patience. You know how I know this is the type of patience I'm talking about. The zone scheme play that ended up opening up for Cam Akers, and I know y'all saw this play. It was the play when he cut back when the backside was wide open on the strong side. When he was running to the weak side, he let the O line squeeze. Once they squeezed that and it sealed off the backside, you saw the decisions and how he was able to slow down his pace, be able to cut out and step backwards to be able to make not only the D lineman miss, but he made the outside linebacker miss, and it was able to get like 14 yards out of a play that should have been that Dameon Pierce would have got stopped for like 5 yards. When you see plays like that, and every single time you saw another running back coming in, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse for Dameon Pierce. What they're seeing in practice versus what everybody else is seeing in games and what I know they're seeing, and I know D'Amico is trying to say it's kind of unfair how you want to judge him, but how can you display? And he was with the ones. So how are we going to sit here and pretend like we didn't see this man with the ones in the O-line? He had CJ throwing him the ball. He had all of the receivers to be able to take all of the pressure off of him, but nobody is afraid of him as a threat of running the ball. But everybody else came in regardless of who played, and they just made better decisions running the football, which is the huge problem. So if Dameon Pierce ends up taking a roster spot, I think it's going to be a matter of time before they see, hey, if we have to give Joe Mixon a breather, you are not the dude. Even in short yardage situations, I don't even see him moving the chains even a yard or two to be able to get any. If we're in the 3rd and 2 situation, I don't trust Dameon Pierce to get that first down. Do y'all? Y'all get in the chat and let me know. Do you trust him on 3 and 2? That's a real question. What are you thinking about the team? Bro, we going to the Super Bowl and we winning that bitch. That's what I think. 13-4. 12 to 13 wins. I'm leaning towards 13-4. The floor is 9-8. That's the floor. Yeah, no excuses. Yeah, he don't get no excuses. It's gonna be difficult cutting wide receiver because that position group is so good and so deep. Absolutely. It's a negative every single time. When you saw British Brooks got 2 touchdowns and made it look easy, bro. When he got around that edge on that final touchdown, I was like, man, that was something beautiful to see. He wasn't chopping the steps. He wasn't hesitating. He knew that he had the speed to be able to get on the outside leverage when that linebacker got sealed off and was able to score an 18-yard touchdown. Dameon Pierce is not doing that right now. Jawar Jordan, in the limited snaps that he had, he made the most of his steps. I want to say he had like 50-something yards. That man just got drafted in what, the fifth or 6th round? It's crazy to me, man. As long as Dameon Pierce is not on the squad, personally, I could care less, and I would not mind if they kept 4 people. I just don't. I don't mind if you have to make a decision and be like, okay, I look at carrying 4 running backs pretty much the same as, okay, if you wanna sub and you wanna have a running back and you wanna have a situation where if you're running empty and say if you want to end up running the screen, I believe that both of those guys are shifty enough, and whoever else besides Dameon Pierce, you are going to be able to come up and have big plays that is going to have the defense scared on a week in, week out basis. It's like James Jones said a month or so ago on the Colin Cowherd shirt and on Speak. it's really nothing that you can do schematically against this team to be able to consistently win on them, play in, play out, especially when you have a great running attack. And if you have the running attack, and if this team can even at least be top 12, top 14, that's really all we need this year. We don't have to, we just need to be an efficient running football team. Passing, we're going to do our thing. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. Texans 49ers, I got Texans Lions personally. Um, the Lions is better than the 49ers, much to dismay. People are going to sit here and say the 49ers, bro, the only reason why the Lions wasn't in the Super Bowl last year is because Dan Campbell is a fucking idiot. We're not going to sit here and act like the Lions can't beat the 49ers. We're not going to act like they can't beat the Cowboys because in two mental gaffes, because he wants to go for it when he didn't have to and he didn't want to take the field goal. You know, it's shit like that I look at. I'm like, the 49ers didn't beat them. The Lions beat themselves. The head coach beat them when he didn't have to. All he had to do was, in that situation, take the points because they couldn't stop them on defense. Or they couldn't stop them. They can't stop Jahmyr Gibbs. They couldn't do any of that. People might see this stream and be like, oh, bro, he's tripping. No, I'm not. People keep trying to say that the 49ers got the best receivers in the game. No, they don't. Ayuk's very good. Debo's good. He has one season where he was spectacular, but I mean, if you want to count, Jawan Jennings, that guy sucks. He had 265 yards last year. He's not good. He's been in the league for years. He's 28 years old. What are we talking about? I mean, okay, yeah, they got Ricky Pearsall, but we haven't seen him on the field yet. We don't know what he understands, and we don't know how he's going to look in game. And we want to keep crediting Kyle Shanahan for being able to work receivers. What receivers? You mean both of the receivers that he got in the first and second round? Guys he didn't have to develop who were already good? He got two top 100 players at wide receiver, and somehow, some way, we're supposed to sit here and pretend like Kyle Shanahan is like that with receivers when he only has two of them on the team that matter. You got one of the best tight ends in the game who came from what school? Iowa. They always do this. They did it with Sam Laporta, they did it with Kittle, and they did it with T.J. Hawkinson. I'm very confident about our D-line. And listen, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, JP95. You know, this is why y'all need me back. Because y'all get a whole bunch of pussy-ass niggas on this thing, you know, and people who just want to do, you know, videos about the Texans who are outside the fan base, and that's cool. I understand. But let me remind y'all of something. This is why you have me here today. Who was Sheldon Rankins, and where was Sheldon Rankins before we picked him up last year? I'm waiting for people to put this in the chat. Who was Malik Collins them 2-3 years that we had him before D'Amico Ryans got here? Remember, Sheldon Rankins had just got cut from the I want to say he had got cut from the Jets, and he started out playing with the Saints, right? His best year he ever had was the year he had up under D'Amico Ryans, and this man left and got paid like $20-something million. A nobody, a fucking nobody. Nobody was worried about Sheldon Rankins, but motherfuckers were crying their ass off when we lost Malik Collins in there. And for what? Guess what? Guess what D'Amico ends up doing? He go get Foley, who already played for him in the 49ers when they went to a Super Bowl under Salah, who he coached. Played extremely well. You think he ain't finna do that and he ain't gonna get the best out of... Have y'all not heard or have y'all not seen what Mario Edwards was doing to these boys up front? I need y'all to pay attention to the detail because these dudes ain't getting moved around like that. These dudes ain't getting moved around like that. when the Nico Archery come back, and more than likely he may end up getting his stuff overturned. I'm not saying he will, but he has an extremely high chance of getting his stuff overturned, especially if his doctor it goes on record and says that he made a mistake and he didn't let Danico know exactly what was going that this would make him pop. If somebody goes to bat for him, which I believe if his doctor has any morality and wants to maintain credibility, I would suggest they go on record and speak on this man's behalf so he can get back to doing what he does best, which is sacking the quarterback and stopping the run. I feel sorry for every quarterback that we playing this year. All you need from the D tackles is push so that the linebackers can be able to see a crease, which is what what Aziz is going to be able to do. All we need to do with the D tackles is control the line of scrimmage and stuff the run. If you get an occasional pass rush, that's fine. But why are we pretending like that is the strength and the type of D tackles that D'Amico has made it with? Eric Armstead wasn't no perennial sack artist, and look at what he did with him. And he gets hurt all the time. Look what he was able to do with Javon Kinlaw in his short time that he had him with the 49ers. These dudes is too short and they was too light in the ass. Guess what? Foley, Mario Edwards, and Tim Settle ain't light at all. Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins was like 290 pounds getting pushed around. Yes, we did end the season, and we started the season off extremely abysmal in the run department. So we're not going to sit here and act like it didn't take a while before all of the right pieces started to make that right. We got better play from the linebackers. We got better play from the safeties and run defense. We got better play from the corners. And we damn sure got better play up front. And when you got Will Anderson, he makes everybody's job easier. You got two of the best you have two of the better defensive ends in the league when it comes to run defense, and then you got guys who can plug and play who really can't be moved off the spot, and then you have Aziz Al-Shaair, who is extremely well at stopping the run, and these guys' mentality of holding each other accountable, along with D'Amico's ability to be able to scheme up the game, and people is worried about the fucking D tackles. I don't understand this shit. Like, this is why y'all need me here. Because y'all niggas tripping. Who just got paid leaving the Houston Texans? Rankins, Collins, Grenard, Cashman. Potentially could have been Nelson if he knew how to keep his fucking mouth shut. He had his greatest season. He was with Pittsburgh. He was with Mike Tomlin for years. Comes to D'Amico, gets him for 1 year. What do he do? Best fucking statistical season he's ever had. Making a difference in the playoffs. Like, what are we talking about? D'Amico Ryans is the answer for the defense. Don't worry about the defense too much. Every team has holes. Why are we pretending like you think the Ravens ain't got holes? You think the Kansas City ain't got holes? You think the 49ers ain't got holes? Think again. Every team got holes. The difference is your coach good enough to cover them the fuck up consistently? Last I checked, D'Amico Ryans can. Because who was I thinking? Look at our team last year. Look at who was talking about our roster last year, especially when it came to defense. Who was they saying was a playmaker, and who was they saying was going to do this and going to do that last year, specifically? Derrick Henry has never done anything against the Houston Texans when we got good middle linebacker play and when we got good D tackle play, which was what we got. We had that last year. We was able to stop him with, bro, we held this nigga to 9 yards last year in the first game at his house. Derrick Henry ain't no problem for the Houston Texans when the Houston Texans have an established D tackle and a linebacking core. He's nothing to us. Why are we pretending like Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry wasn't doing none of that shit before we lost. Derrick Henry wasn't doing none of that. That 200-yard games, that little tear that he had, the little 4 games he put together, yeah, that shit was cute. He wasn't doing that shit when we had Vince Wilfork and when we had motherfucking DJ Reader. But 2018, we get rid of DJ Reader, and what does he start doing? Oh, yeah, right. But when we had Bernard McKinney, when we had Whitney Merciless, when we had J.J. Watt, when we had Jadeveon Clowney, what was that nigga doing before that? He only got off against our team unless he got off on our team the very first time. His very first 100-yard game was in 2017 when we lost Whitney Merciless. We lost motherfucker. The only person we had was Jadeveon Clowney. And much of that game until fucking Tom Savage turned the ball over on downs in the fourth quarter with like a minute and something left, they end up running a halfback play to the left, and he takes the touchdown for 75 yards, which is the only reason why he had like 110, 120 yards that he got on a single play. So it's going to make us, before that, he only had like 40 or 50 yards on like 19 carries. But he raw like that against the Texans. I don't care what he do to nobody else. When he come see us in H-Town, or we got to go see him in Tennessee, what is that bitch doing when we got a D tackle and linebacking play? Go look at the numbers if you think I'm lying. He ain't shit. Not to us. Exactly, bro. Exactly, Rue. Violating him. On his own. On his own. When we had Rita, when we had Clowney, when we had Watt, when we had Zach Cunningham, when we had Dylan Cole, when we had Honey Badger, he wasn't doing none of that. And he's supposed to do that against Will Anderson, Danico Autry, Mario Edwards, Christian Harris, Aziz, Daniil Hunter, and Petrie? And you think that's going to change just because he in a Ravens uniform? Nigga, think again. Think again. I was never afraid of that nigga going to the fucking Ravens. That's the only team he could go to. He can scare everybody else in a Ravens uniform. That nigga ain't afraid. I ain't afraid of that nigga at all. If we talking about the year, if we talking about Derrick Henry, with the only time Derrick Henry was scared, it was perceived to be scary to me was the year that Lamar got his first MVP. That's the only time that I thought, like, bro, that'd be scary as shit if they had them. But guess what? All they got is some tight ends to throw to and a 5A receiver who gonna drop the ball at the goal line in the playoffs and Zay Flowers. What is we talking about? This is why y'all need the real back. Because if we go roster for roster, ain't no roster in the league fucking with the Houston Texans right now, with the exception of maybe these couple teams. The Eagles, the Lions, the Niners, who else would I say? Those are the teams right off my head. No, the Chiefs ain't fucking with us roster for roster. They got their wide receiver room unproven. Running back, much like Dameon Pierce, he really ain't all that. Where they do excel is their interior O-line. They excel at that. They got Chris Jones. They got Nick Bolton. And they got Trent McDuffie. Justin Reed, if you want to throw him in there. They have a few places. They're coached well. They're not a phenomenal roster. We need to quit lying and saying that the Kansas City Chiefs have a great roster, because they don't. They don't. Nigga, we finna curb St. Louis Rebel. Nigga, we finna curb stomp them niggas. Nigga, you don't know. And that's okay. It ain't for me to convince you, my nigga. You gonna see on your own. Stream the game, look at the game when the shit is over. Come back to me, because I'll be live. You can come talk to me. We'll chop it up. I appreciate you coming through, though. Make sure y'all smash that like button, though. The Colts, please. Anthony Richardson, that nigga ain't it. He ain't it. Other niggas know it, too. The Bengals know it. They seen him in action. He ain't it. I like the Bengals. You know, when it comes to the Browns got a phenomenal team. You know, it's not too many teams going roster for roster, player for player, position for position that's really fucking with the Texans like that. And this ain't on no homer shit. This is never on no. This ain't, y'all know me. This ain't even about that. It ain't even about that. You got a lot of teams that got a lot of good receivers that can match up. You got a lot of good tight ends. Of course, I can say some teams who got tight ends, but if you're talking about full tight end room, Brevin Jordan, Schultz, and Stover, I'm just saying, we deep at a lot of positions, bro. Deep at D line, deep at corner, could be better quality depth, you know, past a certain point. So I can understand the trepidation when it comes to that. Safety starting to get a little deeper. I like the way Jimmy Ward smacked the shit out of Neighbors on that play when early in the game. You know, when Neighbors got past Stingley, you know, in that zone coverage and he came over to help, you know, over the top. So I like that. If he gonna be hitting niggas like that and he gonna stay healthy the whole season, and we can get that Jimmy Ward, you know, more often than not, sign me up, and I'm glad that they extended him if that's who we gonna get. Kalen Bullock, bro, that nigga running from sideline to sideline. He is fun to watch. The fact that he was practicing with the ones today with Kamari Lassiter and all them boys, it already goes to show they know exactly what they got. And let's be real, D'Amico Ryans ain't never coached a linebacker nowhere near as fast as Christian Harris. Dre Greenlaw a beast, but he ain't the athlete that Christian Harris is. Mustafa, the guy that they just drafted at safety and with the 49ers, and Wufanga ain't nowhere near as fast as Caleb Bullock. He don't have nobody who can he ain't had nobody who can roam around on the 49ers who can do what Jalen Preacher is doing on the line of scrimmage. And they damn sure didn't have no Derek Stingley or Kamari Lassiter at cornerback. At no time did he ever have that. Besides, oh, I mean, if you want to say Richard Sherman, but Richard Sherman was getting a little older, but he was still a very effective player, savvy veteran who made plays. But when you put all that together with the type of coaching and the fact that they get to go against an offense day in, day out, as lethal as ours, and they have to go through all of these different types, you got twitchy athletes who are able to carve dudes up that are able to catch a 5-yard pass and take it for 6. You have 3, maybe 4 guys who can do everything I just said. Maybe 4 on a pop. But when you're really looking at this team and the way that it's coached and the way it's built right now, they ain't doing too much talking. They getting it done in camp. You know, a lot of teams are, you know, having a lot of unfortunate things going on right now. You know, we keep our head above water, make sure that you stay safe on the field. And as long as this team stays safe, stay healthy, don't put themselves in harm's way, avoid the plays that need to be avoided, this team is going places. They're going places that most Texans fans knew one day that we would get to, but until we see it, they couldn't even believe we was in this spot, especially as soon as it happened with the type of stuff that we went over with the last, 5, 6 years? And the reason why I'm willing to say 5 or 6 years is because we watched Bill O'Brien make egregious choices from a personnel, a coaching staff, and as a general manager. And when we look at what the front office is doing, come on, man, how could you have any faith in what this team was able to do during that time? Then we're not even going to talk about how ineffective he was consistently with the play calling. How do you have a scheme so live in Deshaun Watson's 2017 season as a rookie, and you completely go away from that, and we never see that type of scheme ever again? And you had the players to do it. You had Will Fuller. You had Darren Fells. You had Jordan Akins. You had Lamar Miller. You had DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you had Kiki Kuti. You had a lot of guys, and you fucked that team up. But you know what? It's a minor setback for a major comeback. And CJ Stroud is finna put it in y'all boys' face. Kenny Stills, come on, man. What are we talking about here? For a short time, we had I mean, he died now, but what's his face? From the Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a very fun season. I think it's a very no nonsense season. Everybody's holding each other accountable. Every person looks like they're willing to take ownership for what they do, and I don't see teams. I don't see D'Amico or anybody letting anybody who's a hindrance or holding anybody back from making plays on this field. I just don't see it. This is why I think Dameon Pierce overall is not going to make it, because if he comes in and he has to do stuff short yardage, or he has to be able to punch in a touchdown on a goal line situation, do we trust him to do that? No. Maybe on a read option play, we fake it, you know what I'm saying, and CJ happens to run it in or something like that. As a decoy, maybe. I just don't think he's effective enough. He definitely could for a number of other teams, like the Ravens, the Raiders, New England, maybe the Buffalo Bills, another team that's just not us. Maybe even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of balls being thrown around, and a lot of guys are gonna be able to make a whole lot of plays, at every single level. And I think they're gonna definitely exploit a lot of the short game this year, because we already are well aware of what we can do in the mid range and the deep game. I think they're gonna exploit the short passing game to a level that no other team with this amount of talent at the wideout position probably has ever really seen. I think with the route runners and the guys that we have, with as explosive as they are, and y'all have noticed, I don't know if y'all noticed this. Everybody was so worried about Stephon Diggs, talking about this whole number one, this and that. But when you looked at him being wide, when he played in the preseason game, you haven't seen him on the outside not one time. Go look at all his rips versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and go look at all his rips during the New York Giants in this last game. He was in the slot the whole time, which was what Bobby Slowick was missing. And at the end of the day, why wouldn't you want to take advantage of the best possible matchup nightmare that you're gonna have game in, game out? Because what third option or what safety or what linebacker is gonna be able to consistently run a motion and have to guard 15 to 20 yards, maybe even further, of Stephon Diggs game in, game out? What, are you going to bring a safety down? What, are you going to switch out your number one corner and have him guard in the slot? You just going to open Tank up? You're just going to open Nico up, even more than what they already going to be? You think you're going to bracket these dudes? Okay, we'll gas you in the middle with Mixon. Matter of fact, we'll be able to roll on the outside, and CJ's going to be able to get a 20, 30-yard game with his legs on the ground. Make a 15. Just keep moving the chains. That's what we'll do. We're going to tire out your defense. We're going to have time of possession. We're going to win that. And just when you think you got a shot, we're going right over your head, and it ain't nothing you all ass going to be able to do about it. It's going to be that simple. It's going to be that fucking simple. Play us an empty. If we line up an empty, what you gonna do? You're just gonna have to hope a ball either get tipped, a ball get dropped, or CJ gets sacked, or something like that. That's what you're just gonna be hoping. People are gonna look at this and they'll be like, bro, how can he be so sure? Oh, I know what good football look like, and I know exactly when this team gonna be good, and I know when they're gonna be bad. Y'all done heard me come out and be like, hey, they gonna be real trash this year. I ain't got no reason to lie to y'all. Been doing this for way too long. Y'all know how I roll. This is just one of them years where we finna end up being one of the ones. And anything after this year, it's gonna be cemented that CJ Stroud is that guy. A lot of questions are gonna be asked, and they're gonna be saying, "Hey, is this guy really at the top?" He's firmly gonna supplant himself as that. I firmly believe that. There's nothing you can do to stop the Texans offense, offensively or defensively. No. The only thing that's gonna stop us is, you know, unfortunate situations. I don't want to use the word, but it's just gonna be some unfortunate. That's the best you can hope for. Schematically, it's nothing you can do. Not consistently. There are some areas that I think that could pose as a weakness, and that's the linebacker depth. If you know, depending on what happens at the corner position, you know, maybe you can get some exploits there. But depending on what's going on up front, and depending on how we condense the field, you won't have enough time to be able to exploit anything. And I just don't see D'Amico. I just don't see D'Amico Ryan. I see D'Amico Ryan's having a damn good time because he's never had a group. And if you want to go talent for talent, and you want to do the measurables on top of the playmaking ability and the athleticism, this team is way more athletic than any team at any given time that D'Amico coached with the 49ers. Way more athletic, especially at the positions that really matter, like edge rush, linebacker, safety, and that corner. He ain't never had a corner like that, which is exactly why you see Stingley in 11 games get 5 interceptions right out of the gate and made it look easy. Uh, as far as teams that I think they could beat us, when I look at the schedule, um, I could see us, you know, dropping in a division game. Which one I don't know. I'm having a real hard time now saying, because honestly, y'all gonna think I'm crazy by saying this, and you know, a lot of people have been finding it, but I've been on this, and I'm gonna stand on it. I honestly believe that the Tennessee Titans is the second best team I look in the division right now. I don't believe in AR-15 at all. He hasn't done enough. He hasn't been on the field long enough to show us anything. The man has less than 500 passing attempts. He has less than 500 passing attempts total from high school to being in the pros. He's never been healthy in any season that he's played football. And now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to believe that he's going to take over and he's going to make it real hard when last year it was busted coverages that we had against the run. He didn't do anything in the pass. He's not a prolific passer. He's never been a prolific passer. But, you know, and they keep trying to compare him to Cam Newton. Cam Newton was actually dominant. AR-15 has never dominated any level of football that he's playing. Is he a great athlete? Yes. He's not Cam Newton athlete though. If you want your quarterback to be built like somebody, you want him to be built like Cam Newton. He's not even as explosive with his legs than Cam Newton at the NFL level. He not. Cam Newton was breaking for like 60, 70-yard touchdown runs, effective in the red zone, effective from goal to goal, from 20 to 20. Was a leader on the field, could pump the ball down the field consistently, and did it with no weapons. He had a tight end. He had a decent running game. He had not one premier receiver the entire time he was in, and that's even counting with Steve Smith, because Steve Smith was on his way out of the door when Cam Newton got there. He played with Steve Smith for 2 years, and then he ended up in Baltimore. What's your expectations of linebacker Henry To'oTo'o? I think he's going to end up taking a step. I think he'll be a good rotational player, and you'll see him probably in on, you know, jumbo packages and shit like that when we really need to stuff the run. You can expect to see him probably in a lot of special teams. You'll see him in a spot like if somebody has to go out or something like that, but you'll see him mainly in run defense. I don't think they're going to use him because he's very good at diagnosing plays, and I think, you know, him being able to understanding the tempo of the game and realizing where his faults were, much like how Jalen Petrie was that he spoke on. I think he's going to have better. He's going to end up having better tackling this season, and he's going to be able to stand dudes up and make sure that he's effective when his numbers call. I don't see him, going too hard and in the passing game, maybe a deflection here or there or something like that. But I think he's gonna be able to get boys lined up, let everybody know exactly where they're supposed to be because he does have that level of talent mentally. He has that. He's always had that. He showed that he had that last year in short time. Colts playing right now, not gonna lie, Richardson looking good. Man, bro, yeah, all right. And when like he's looking good. Are the Chiefs playing their number ones right now? Who are the Colts playing right now? Because you making me want to cut my TV on. Who are the Colts playing right now? The Bengals, right? They playing a third string, bro. Come on, man. When he playing against Cam Taylor-Britt, when he playing against them boys that was picking them off in the game in practice a day or two ago, then let me know. When he doing that, then you let me know. If Cam Taylor-Britt ain't out there, if Trey Henderson and all them boys ain't out there, what are we even talking about? I seen CJ look good against the number ones against Pittsburgh and the Giants. And the Giants got a phenomenal defense. I'm not, bro, if the only way you can look good is throwing up against Juju Brents and all of them other bums that they got at corner, if that's the only way you can look good, we're going to give them a kiss on the forehead, tell them a best time story week 1. We're going to send him to Hoover with a Freddy Krueger glove. Oh, God. AR-15 is not it. He's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts could actually throw the ball. I don't know why they got rid of Minshew. That was the stupidest shit they could have done. This man took them to a 9-8 team. He was beating teams like Baltimore. He played that whole game against Baltimore, and they beat Baltimore. All he do is run. Yeah, bro. That's what the DBs were saying about him. Yeah, go ahead and pass the ball. Bitch couldn't pass the ball for shit. It's real easy for AD Mitchell and all them boys to look good against their secondary because who the fuck they got over there that's gonna make a difference? Name that guy. They're gonna be in a situation where Zaire Franklin is gonna be going guys in the slot on stick routes. He shouldn't be in that position, but that's the position he's gonna be in. They gonna end up. The Colts are in a situation where they're going to have to play a lot of base package. They're going to have to play 5-2. They're going to have to play, they're going to be able to play some nickel, but not effectively. And their defense didn't get that much better. Okay, yeah, they got Latu. Latu got to prove it. Latu got to get it done on the field. People was trying to say like he was better than Will. Bro, he was never better than Will Anderson at no point in college. Because he missed the Kobe and this and that. Talking about he was the best pure pass rusher that they graded out in the last 3 or 4 years. Get the fuck out of here. Niggas be lying. He wasn't better than no goddamn Michael Parsons coming out of college. And he damn sure wasn't better than no Nick Bosa. He wasn't better than no Chase Young. And he damn sure wasn't better than no Will Anderson. Niggas be lying, bro. They don't this same play action shit. I don't know what you mean. I don't know how you rephrase it, how you ask that question. I don't know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. The saving grace for the Colts is the fact that they're gonna be able to run the ball. Yeah, on some read option shit. Yeah, they'll be cold. Yeah, they'll be cold when it comes to running the ball. Yeah, I'll never deny that. I'll never deny that the Colts can't run the ball. But nigga, you ain't Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson know how to protect himself. He plays more games than you. He's more effective as a passer than you. They just lost their tight end, Jelani Woods. Mo Alley Cox. What is that nigga gonna do? They got some weapons. I do like their perimeter weapons. I like AD. I mean, there's some other teams I feel like should have took AD. I think the Panthers should have took AD. Honestly, I think the Bills should have took AD, but they didn't. So it is what it is. Um, I like Josh Downs. Pittman, cool. But I mean, they got a nice little trio. I mean, and if you want to throw Alec Pierce into the mix, they got a nice little they got a nice little tandem. But Anthony Richardson ain't the guy. Flacco, maybe Flacco might turn him around because he can actually pump the ball down the field. But does he have the defense that he had last year with the Browns? I mean, I think it's some trade offs. Could he be better offensively? Maybe, but it's still Joe Flacco. He guaranteed to throw you a pick. He'll throw his mom a pick. AG just scored a touchdown. I mean, he should against third string corners. I want to see these plays because I definitely want to see what's up because they're gonna be acting like Anthony Richardson was really doing something like that because he wasn't doing none of this in week and what would have been in the last two games he ain't do none of this. So I find it crazy that now he doing it against a bunch of third string corners when the niggas who on the sideline laughing at the niggas, they know what's up. They like, nigga, you would not be doing that if we was in there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, people can be excited about him because he can run the ball and it looked like he can throw when he got shorts on and he can make the occasional deep throw. But like he's not effective enough at throwing the ball at any level in tight windows consistently. You see, everybody can throw in a tight window occasionally, but that's how Colts fans is trying to sell it because he made 130 or 40-yard throw down the field. Somehow we're supposed to be amazed when he didn't do it enough. I think the Bears are going to be very good. Um, I like their defense. I like their depth. Caleb is, the boy looking good. I'm not even the biggest Caleb Williams fan like that. Personally, I thought Michael Penix was the best quarterback in the draft, him and Jaden Daniels, personally, and then Caleb. But I mean, so far so good. He should have a better rookie season than CJ statistically. He in a hard division, I will say that. He got a lot of good games ahead of him, so but I think much to what we've seen in a lot of these preseason games, a lot of that shit that he doing, that running on it and turning around and spinning around and throwing it about that shit ain't gonna happen when these games start to matter. Come week one, I don't see none of that. I mean, he might occasionally make a play and they're gonna glaze the shit out of him and say this and say that and say, oh, he the next Pat Mahomes and this and that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. But it's not gonna be consistent enough. I just don't think it's gonna be consistent enough. I think he's gonna go through his own growing pains in his own way, and I think he's gonna be a detriment to himself when he gets out of structure because he does tend to leave the pocket extremely early. So I'm wondering how well does he even trust his protection at this point? Because if he really trusted him, then why is he not sitting in, and why haven't we seen him make any plays from the pocket outside of a screen play? I'm just saying. When he was in the pocket, frustrated, getting sacks. When he out of structure, that's the only time he looks competent. So that's one of my observations that I've noticed, But I ain't gonna say it don't look dazzling. That it can't make you go wow. And that ball he threw to Roma Dunze, I gotta give it to him. That was a pretty, it was a pretty beautiful pass. Roma Dunze was in a situation where he had to go up and go get it, and he did. Brought it down. They scored. It was a fantastic play. Even the play that he ran in, um, I was like, that was a good way for him to be able to read the sideline and for him to be able to get a rushing touchdown. So I definitely see some areas where he definitely gonna be able to threaten teams with his legs on all the money downs. So if I'm worried about anything, I'm worried about that. And yeah, and they coming to Houston. Yes, they are coming to Houston for Sunday Night Football. Yeah, we beat them. I mean, we own the Bears, bro. Like, the Bears got a couple of wins on us in the last, and it's the first time that they actually started winning. So, the Bears is going to be a good team. I don't think it's going to be an easy win. Some weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I'm like, no question that we're going to win this game. But after I've seen a couple of things that I've seen some of their playmakers and, seeing how they're going to be able to open things up, and they do have some size and they got guys who can route guys up. I can see how Keenan Allen could be a problem. I can see how DJ Moore can be a problem. And depending on what situation, how we scheme it up, and who we have playing who, I can understand where some things can be exploited, which is why I'm not saying we're going to just dominate them. And they're going to have a good running game because they got DeAndre Swift. So they got Cole Kmet too, who's 6'7", you know what I'm saying, who can go up and go get a good red zone threat. And then you got the threat of Caleb's legs. And Eberflus is a good defensive head coach, and I think he's going to have them boys coached up. So, that's my thoughts, but I'm going to end up bringing this video to a close. I do appreciate y'all boys coming through. Man, bro, shout out to that boy Herb Gotti, bro, being coach. He just threw a pick six. Oh my God! See, I'm missing all of it, bro. I'm missing everything. We do appreciate anytime we can get any donations, from you boys, man. I got membership set up, so if I get everything active, we're gonna try to do some other things because I'm trying to get some things, where I get my intro and everything doing up because I want to start doing more. I want to start uploading more videos, where I'm actually making more videos versus the live streams. Still gonna do the live streams, but I want to be able to drop other short content. So be on the lookout for any shorts and things like that, because I definitely appreciate y'all boys, man. I appreciate y'all, Honcho, man. I'm glad you was able to stick in here and I'm able to give y'all boys, some good content. It feels good. I'm in that mode right now. I feel like I'm tired of all these motherfuckers making all these Texans videos and talking all this shit, talking about, oh, we ain't got no D tackles, talking about, oh, we ain't got this, talking about, oh, we ain't got that. Nigga, at the end of the day, you niggas gonna find out. Because at the end of the day, we turning some of your favorite free agents, nigga, into motherfucking stars. Because them niggas wasn't that until they had D'Amico Ryans. So, I appreciate y'all boys coming through. If y'all ain't hit that like button, you know what I'm saying, smash that. If you want to send a donation or something like that, on a super chat before we get up out of here, I definitely appreciate it. Y'all showed major love. I'm glad I could show it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely in the mood, and I'm off tomorrow anyway, so we're going to have to run this back because I want to talk about some of these games. I want to talk some more about these divisional opponents and what we are going to actually be going through when the season starts to kick off, and we can talk about some of these games. And, yeah, I do need to get back in. I do need to get in those, bro, because I feel like that's a lot of traction, for the channel. They are fun. We can have a whole lot of conversations. And if y'all want me to take part in that, then hey, I'm gonna have to hop back on there and we're gonna have to make that happen so I can be able to hear some of you guys' so I can hear some of you guys' input and we can go ahead and keep the conversation going. If y'all haven't, make sure that y'all join that South Sports Discord, at southsports.com/ damn, what is it? I forgot what it was. But if you can, Honcho, go ahead and drop that link. Y'all be able to get in the Discord, $5 for the month. The conversation been heating up. We've been deep. There's a lot of things that we've been talking about that we haven't been able to talk about on stream that you guys been missing out on. But we definitely want to make sure that we keep that conversation going. Honcho will give you guys some updates. He'll update me. So if I go live before we go live on the sauce, we'll let you know exactly how that's going to end up turning out for us so we can be able to pump out the best content in Houston. So once again, welcome to Third Coast Sports TV. I'm your host, Wink, where we talk sports, love sports, enjoy sports. Y'all boys get ready for a hell of a season. We're going to the Super Bowl. You heard it here. I ain't playing no games. I ain't running away from it. And nigga, if you feel like you can't say that, let me say it for you. Nigga, we're going to the Super Bowl, and we're going to be in downtown Houston celebrating like a motherfucker. But y'all, shout out to y'all boys, man. Y'all showed up. Y'all showed out. Make sure that you check out the episode for tomorrow, and we can get this thing rolling.